Hi friends! In this tutorial I will talk about how I do the weekly merges of the Blender source code into Bforartists. First let's have a look here at my folder structure. We have here the Bforartists repository, the Blender repository, and we have a copy. This one, the copy of Bforartists in Blender, is before I do the merge. So I can compare before and after. So this is from last week, this is also from last week. This is the compile result for Bforartists, and this is the compile result for Blender. And here we have the libs. They work for both Blender and Bforartists, the precompiled libs. And here we have the compile result for the Sync Blender master branch. We will come to it. The first thing that I do is to remove the stuff from the former week. Also here the compile result from Blender. Let's remove it. Then let's create a copy of the Blender folder. I have written down the next steps here. When you don't have a repository yet, then it's this part. But I have already the repository here. So let's go to this part. I am at Drive E. Let's open the command prompt. I need to go to Drive E, this is my location. Then change directory to the Blender repository. Then let's run make update. And then it pulls all the new code for Blender. Git submodules. With the make update, it doesn't fully pull everything. So you need to run afterwards git submodule for each git pull. And then the submodules gets finally fully updated. Okay, here we are. As you can see, it pulls more code here. And then let's run make and compile Blender. This takes a while. Blender has compiled. Let's have a look if it starts. This is the reason why I always first compile Blender. I had one merge where Blender did not start, and then I have dragged not working code into the Bforartists master. So this works. Let's go on with the rest of the merge. What we need to do here is to switch to Sync Blender master branch. I have already done this. Let's first remove the former version from the week before. And as told, switch to Sync Blender master. I have already done this. This is the second time that I record this step. Next is I have also recorded everything needed here. Fetch all. In case that you don't have done it before, you first need to add everything with git remote add. So the Blender repository is needed, and we need Bforartists. These two should be. I have already done this. I have already added it as remote, so I always just choose add and all, and then everything gets pulled. And the next step is we pull the changes from Bforartists from the master. This is something that I do with the console because it is much faster. This was the wrong button. Again, bash here. This is what I need. Paste. As told, I have done this step before. This is why it tells me already up to date. Now let's copy this. This copy here is now in the state of the Blender master. This is our reference in case something goes wrong. Fingers crossed that it does not go wrong, then we don't need this folder. but it can always happen. So we make a copy of it. And now we merge the Blender master. Same procedure. Bforartists, git bash, and let's merge it. And here we have the message that we have merge conflicts. The repository has also a triangle icon now. So we go to .was-git resolve. And here we have the trouble files. This is divided into Python files and C files. The next is personal preference. You could simply go through them one by one and try to resolve the files with these tools here, but I hate this. This is not really clean. You miss the space and everything. I don't want to work this way. So what I do is to copy this to clipboard, full paths, file new, and save this as conflicts files. I have already done this before. And now I can go through one by one and compare Blender new and old files or the Blender repository with Bforartists. For the Python files, it makes more sense to compare the changes between Blender new and Blender old. And for the C files, it makes more sense to compare Blender directly with Bforartists. But first, resolve conflict using head. Head means our changes get kept. The Blender changes are for now not added. This is the part that we do here then. So head, yes. Okay. Resolving the conflicts will be a separate video. We have now started the merge. It is not finished. We came to the point where we have to resolve the conflict. This is, as told, the next video.